Hi, I'm Jay Sellers with the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission. I want to talk to you for a few minutes about what happens if our community is in the direct path of a hurricane or a tropical storm and we have to evacuate. With us today is Alec Eaton, Interim Director of the Glynn County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency. Thanks for being here, Alec.
Thanks for having me, Jay. It's always a pleasure.
So, Alec, nobody is anxious to talk about the possibility that we would be entering into hurricane season and facing any type of threats, but there we are. It's a fact that we do have that type of risk. What's been on your mind recently, and how are you engaging with the local partners to get us more prepared for this hurricane season?
Well, I'll tell you, our partnerships have worked well together in the past facing the threats of previous hurricanes, such as Matthew, Dorian, Irma, which was a huge one, which was my first one. But right now we're coming together again to make some plans. What would happen if we were to get a direct impact? Right on.
So I know from serving in the Emergency Operations Center and on the leadership team since Matthew that an evacuation order is not a decision that's taken lightly. The leadership team gets together every day for a week, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day, in order to determine what can we do to best avoid an evacuation? What are we in the direct impact of the storm? Is it coming? So describe to me what goes on behind the scenes and who stays behind if we do have an evacuation.
Well, like you said, it's a very important decision calling for an evacuation, and we don't take this lightly. So our EOC typically ends up filling up with representatives from all over both public and private sector. Everyone from DNR, we have state representatives from GEMA, we have our GIS, we have our we have IT support, Joint Water Sewer, we have College of Coastal Georgia is there, Jekyll Island, both city and county, public safety, our fire, police, and EMS are there. Our sheriff's office are there as well to help, as well as Georgia State Patrol, dealing with the flow of traffic. In case we have to evacuate, we utilize them heavily, especially getting out of our town, as well as our city partnerships. You know, we deal with the city administration, their commissioners, as well as our commissioners, our county administration, our county manager. They're all there in the room as well with us to be able to talk about, make the decision for an evacuation.
Yeah, and we certainly don't want to leave anybody out, and I'm sure we're missing somebody. Like we get so much help from the federal partners, Coast Guard and the Army Corps of Engineers, folks, the Army National Guard, the Air National Guard. These folks do help us, and normally there's a weather briefing every 6 hours or so, even in the days leading up to the activation of the Emergency Operations Center. The elected officials have a presence. When the Emergency Operations Center is activated, the front row is staged and set up for those elected officials. They have some skin in the game when there's decisions being made. The commissioners from the city and the county, as well as the mayor, county administrator, these folks are all present. Oh, and we also have a representative from the National Weather Service that's often embedded in the Emergency Operations Center. How does that help?
Well, they give us almost minute-by-minute updates about the storm tracker. A lot of times we've utilized them during Hurricane Matthew. We had a meteorologist stay with us in the EOC the entire time, and they're able to provide us up-to-date, minute-by-minute storm tracking evidence of where the storm's going to go, how it's going to impact us, and what potential threats we're going to be able to see here locally.
So is it helpful to have everybody staged in the Emergency Operations Center? What's the value of that?
Well, nothing beats having partners within arm's reach. It helps reduce the response time greatly when it comes to getting damages dealt with, damage assessment team out there, figuring out where the problems are locally so we can send the right agency to deal with that problem.
And then as far as the communication process, getting the word out, we, since Hurricane Matthew, have built strong bonds with public information officers and marketing folks from other agencies, not even non-governmental agencies, Sea Island, health department. So we have relationship within the information community, but we also invite, since Hurricane Matthew was such a difficult process in getting that news out, we invite the media into the Emergency Operations Center now. How has that changed things?
That's been a huge help. We're a small county here, but we have a large population. And so getting that message out is imperative for our citizens to know what's going on. Now, we've seen after each event the importance of communication from us to our citizens, our friends, and our family. while we're stuck here behind trying to deal with, make sure that everything's back up and running. People want to know. People need to have that information. And when we bring the media involved, they do the best at getting the word spread out. They have a huge audience, and they could really help us by sharing the word that we're working side by side together with, so that way we can get people home safely.
So what do you suppose would be the impact of a direct hit from a hurricane? Are we prepared for something like that?
Well, I'll tell you, the two biggest threats are the wind damage and storm surge. If we got a direct impact, being that we're low-lying country right now, it's going to be pretty hard for road access if we get, several feet of storm water coming in. That means that roadways aren't clear, that we couldn't get our first responders to people that might be here, that might be in need. If people stay and they needed service of an ambulance and we can't get to them, they're going to be stuck there. We don't want that to happen.
So do you think that contributes to why there's a delay to re-entry following evacuation?
Absolutely. We want to make sure we have access to people's homes, to roadways, to utilities, to make sure that people have the ability to safely be here within the community to help rebuild after we see impacts.
Right on. What are some of the things that people can do now to be more prepared?
Well, I'll tell you, one, have a plan. Know where you're going to go and know how you're going to get there. If you're going to evacuate, find a place, relatives, some friends that might be in another part of the state, someone that's not going to be impacted, hotel reservations maybe a little early, making sure that your supplies are up to date in your disaster kit, knowing that you have your medical supplies, your important documents, and food for the time that comes where you might be out of home for a few days. As well as making sure you're following us on Facebook, making sure that you're up to date on everything social media wise, because that's the best avenue for us when we're in an impacted area. We push it out social media as best as we can.
Yeah, that reminds me. So FEMA has good material that's available online on their website, as well as the Georgia Ready app that GEMA puts out. Mm-hmm. You can get that on your smartphone, and it provides checklists, and you can go through and prepare your family for the potential for either shelter in place or for evacuation if that comes. But we certainly hope that we can get through this hurricane season without any direct impacts and no threats. But if we do face one, I'm glad that you're on the case, Alec, helping the community become more prepared. And we thank you for your time here today.
Oh, you're welcome.
And every day, the staff of the JWSC
and Glynn County EMA
are here to serve you.